Tao is keeping a secret. Will that secret bring down the Expatriate X-Men? That just don't sound right. Support this comic book series by visiting your LCS. My name is Dorian. This is SEO Comics. We're continuing our coverage of Age of Revelation with Expatriate X-Men number 2. Our story starts off with a knock on the door. The door creaks open and Bronze walks in and goes, "Anybody awake?" She's carrying a tray of food and some water. She turns down the radio. She pours a cup of water. She looks at the pills that's on the table and goes, running low. And then she walks over to the person that's sleeping in the bed who mutters something, which we don't know what that is. And she goes, "Hey, Unc, what was that? You up?" And we see his Colossus. His left side is resting. And we also see he's missing a left arm, which was replaced with some kind of robot arm. And the first thing out of his mouth is, Kitty, where are you?" So then Bronze is like, "It's just me, Colossus. I brought you lunch. Chef Blob made you Shalaka." His version anyway. So Blob went from being in Grey Mountain prison to a chef for the Expatriate X-Men. So Colossus is thankful and he's like, "Just what I needed." And Bronze is like, "Eat a little bit, then take your meds. You can't take these meds on an empty stomach." So he starts to eat and she's like, "Same dream?" And Colossus is like, "Nah, same dream." And then Bronze starts crying a little bit and she goes, "I miss her too. And I would do anything to bring her back. But also know that Kitty would want us to live." So the alarm goes off and then Bronze is like, "You hear that? That means we need to cut all the gloom and doom because we're about to make port. And if you want, I can go in town and I can get you something." And Colossus is like, "How about a snack, sweet snack, like that kettle corn or toffee?" And then Bronze is like, "I didn't promise Kitty I'd take care of you just to destroy your teeth." And Colossus is like, "Take care of me?" And she's like, "Why not get you like a keychain?" And Colossus is like, "You know what? Why don't we arm wrestle for it? If I win, you give me some toffee. If you win, you give me a keychain." So then Bronze is like, "You know what? Just take your meds." And then Colossus is like, "Ha, you refuse because you know I win." So then we cut to Tao and LYREBIRD, and Tao seems to be putting back on her clothes. LYREBIRD's like, "What's that sound mean?" And Tao's like, "That means I should have left 10 minutes ago." So, I'm not gonna lie. I thought Tao was gay. So, that proves a viable lesson, kids. Don't assume. So LYREBIRD wants to find out what's going on and go up top, and Tao's like, "No, you need to stay here, rest up. I'll be right back." But he seems very persistent, and Tao's like, "All right, well, come on, and let's not make this a thing." So she goes up top, and she's like, "Well, what the hell's going on?" And these guys are refilling her boat, and she's like, "Well, we didn't negotiate a price." And they're like, "Well, I mean, we waited for you. You didn't show up, so we decided to start filling up for you." So she goes, "Again, we don't do that. Before you start filling up, we negotiate how much it's going to be." So she's like, "You know what? Where's Mad Anthony at? So we can hurry up and get this negotiation done and over with." And they're like, "Yeah, he's no longer in charge anymore. Now it's ran by the Shaw Syndicate." So then Tao's like, "Fine, let's negotiate." So then they're like, "Well, there's really no negotiation. The fuels are in your ship, so the price is whatever we say it is." So then she's like, "Dude, I'll hook the fuel line." So then they're like, "So now you're wasting fuel." And she's like, "We're going to call that a free sample on the house. And now we're going to negotiate a price for the rest of the fuel." And all of a sudden somebody says, "Now you're stealing from me." And we see that it's Shinobi Shaw. Haven't seen him since the Psylocke series. I mean, kind of just ended, so we've seen it recently. So Tao's like, "Fine, Shinobi. We'll pay the same 400 credits that we was paying Mad Anthony." And Shinobi's like, "No, I think you'll double that price. Or we'll just have your heads." So the Tao's like, "You know what? Now you see us. Now you don't." And she disappears. And they start beating up the rest of Shinobi's crew. Except for Shinobi, because Shinobi knows they're there somehow, and he's fighting them off. So then Tao reappears and she goes, "Look, your guys look hurt bad, and I got places to be. So let's get this done and over with. But then one of Shinobi's men has LYREBIRD, and he's like, why don't we talk about that price now? Otherwise, this guy gets it. So then Tao's like, no, he's not one of mine. And LYREBIRD's like, what? What do you mean? And she's like, look, we're finished. We refueled. Now we're ready to leave. So LYREBIRD turns to the dude that's holding him hostage, and he's like, let me go. And dude's like hell, you'll hurt something. She's bluffing. And all of a sudden, he just catches on fire. I mean, fire. This dude that was holding him is burnt to a crisp. The fire is so intense that Shinobi had to jump into the water just to get away from it. So the Tao's like, all right, come on, let's wrap this up before he recovers. And then LYREBIRD's like, what the hell? You just gonna let me die? Like, why would you rescue me in the first place? And Tao's like, I told you to stay your ass down there. I'm the captain of the ship, so what I say goes. So let's go. So now we go back to the captain quarters. Riff and Miss Marvel's in there, and now they got questions about LYREBIRD because all of a sudden they're finding out things that they didn't know, like about the second mutation that can pretty much freaking see people, because supposedly he just had a photographic memory, but now they're questioning everything. So he starts to get pissed and he lights up again, and Browns comes in, uses her powers, grabs him and calms him down because she's fireproof. So then Tao walks in, and like I said, now they're questioning everything because they're supposed to take this dude to the Limbo Lands per Mystique. But now they're wondering, should they even trust Mystique because Mystique didn't tell them about this second mutation. And now they're wondering, is the information that this dude have even valid, or is this dude just a spy? So it seems like Tao and Miss Marvel want to get rid of LYREBIRD, and it seems like Riff and Bronze wants to take him to the Limbo Lands, just keep him under lock and key. So right now they're at a rift, even though they're trying to come to a vote. Right now it's 2-2, one in favor of getting rid of him, one in favor of keeping him. And all of a sudden the Colossus shows up out of nowhere. It's like, don't I have a vote? And he's like, if the beast that once was my sister wants him, and I say we keep our word and bring him to the Dark Child. So Bronze is like, shouldn't you be arresting? And Colossus is like, no, I'm not dead yet. And then Miss Marvel is like, you're also not a leader on this ship. So then Tao is talking to LYREBIRD, and she's like, sorry about earlier. And LYREBIRD's like, you can show me better than you can tell me. All of a sudden, she uses her power, and she phases him through the floors of the ship. So the Miss Marvel is trying to go after him. Tao's trying to stop her. Miss Marvel gets away and is like, no, LYREBIRD's in the water. Now Miss Marvel's in the water, and all of a sudden she looks over and she's like, oh my God, because there is something huge that's right underneath the ship. So the Miss Marvel gets out the water with LYREBIRD, and she goes, guess what I saw underneath the water? And Tao goes, no, don't say it. And she's like, oh no, I'm saying it. Why is there 3K technology that's a part of the ship? And Tao's like, look, I can explain. And before she can explain, all of a sudden something big comes out of the water, and it's some kind of a monster that is shooting fireballs at the other ships, because now they realize they're in the Limbo Lands, so they're in the realm of the Dark Child.